Kraftwerk, you know that love wins propaganda. It's been around a long time, and it's not stopping anytime soon. However, with a little luck, we might be knocking over that house of cards. So, what am I talking about? Lila Rose, the NFP Dominatrix, interviewed Crissy Horton. I don't know, what was it? A couple months ago or something? And then she said the quiet part out loud, effectively, that marital debt no longer exists because love wins, okay? At least I'm exposing that for you. Now, however, everyone's like, what about Crissy Horton's husband? What the heck does he have to say? So he comes in and he actually pushed back, had a little horse sense and said, whoa, wait a minute. It's not all this love wins after all. And there was a couple bits of awkward silence in the interview. We're going to go through it. It's not going to be so long this time, okay? But anyway, I'm John Farrell, your NFP spiritual dictator. I'm going to break it down for you. This is Annulment Proof.
For the first time, I can say that when the time is right, we have that right. And we don't have to worry about being denied that right to marry the person that we love.
But that's not what this video is about. Yesterday, love won. And I'll never even be able to express how much those words and seeing that hashtag everywhere means.
It's surreal.
I can't tell you how much we cried when we realized that there is in fact marriage equality. And to be honest, like, I can't even believe that I'm saying
I know, it literally blows my mind. And even though yesterday love won, love needs to continue to win.
These guys need to be interviewed by Christopher West. I took some notes. All right. When the time is right, we have that right. Now, what does that sound like to you? Sounds like NFP. Okay. Because before they didn't have that right because Pius XII had never said anything about it. And it was procreation primary, right? No, now it's love primary, as bring in the NFP Dominatrix here in a minute. They say you can get married to whoever you want. That's because marriage is love, isn't it, Lila Rose? Man, what is it? Christopher West says the only thing we owe each other is love. I think these two lads on the screen there would agree. Okay, they're grossing me out. I never want to look at them again. Bye-bye. I clicked off of them. Let's bring in the star of our show right here. Here she is. Whoa. Lila, what have you got to tell us now? And then wait till you guys hear what the husband says.
Like, what? what am I listening to right now?
I don't know, Lila.
The church is teaching on this, which is so beautiful. And I believe it's the natural law on this, is that sex is designed to be open to life and for the potential for procreation as well as unity. And so any sexual act needs to have openness to life as well as unity between the spouses. So
any act needs to have openness to life as well as unity. So now what we're saying is, like I've always been telling you guys, there's two purposes, which is why I named this video, Gay Feminist NFP Love Loses to Husband, right? Wait, like I said, wait till you hear what Tim says. Continue, please.
So it's about loving each other, and then it's about being open to life. So that's what.
So I'm repeating myself a little bit, but all this open to life is simply neutral on life, as in it's secondary. Procreation is secondary because loving each other is number one.
Contraception or pulling out or masturbation or orgasm, especially, I should say, ejaculation specifically outside of the marital embrace is seen as against the natural order.
Against the natural order. That's right. Well, the natural order is procreation. That's why.
And when you think about it really simple, it's like sex at the end of the day is about coming together, one flesh.
Sorry. One flesh just means the metaphysical reality. Okay. This is why you cannot live in two separate houses. All right. Legally. One flesh has nothing to do with how you feel or how things are going along or any of that stuff. But she's co-opting this. That's why these words like unity and covenant and bond and one flesh are used to change the legal definition. And y'all out there are like, wow, it sounds so great. And then Christopher West gets all teary-eyed about things. And then those two nice lads sitting on each other's laps are like gushing the same way.
Physically, that is the ultimate end. You can do, enjoy yourselves up into that.
Pardon me. I talk so much. This goes by fast. We're not going to, hopefully this video won't take too long. Let's rewind what she said, okay? Hold on. It was too much. Just a cotton picking minute. What did she say?
We are no contraception.
No pulling out. Withdrawal. No withdrawal.
Wait. 2704.
No withdrawal.
That's why contraception or pulling out or masturbation or orgasm, especially I should say ejaculation specifically outside of the marital embrace, is seen as against the natural order. And when you think about it really simple, it's like sex at the end of the day is about coming together, one flesh physically. That is the ultimate end. You can do,
That is the ultimate end. That means that is the ultimate purpose. What end or purpose did she just say? It's the one flesh thing. What is one flesh? That means she's talking about some sort of utopian love dealy bob or whatever, which is all about what she thinks it is. Okay. All right. Because the husband's you'll see him in a minute. He's like, whatever. He kind of tries to walk both sides of the fence here, but anyway.
Enjoy yourselves up until that point. Obviously, and there's a lot of personal intimacy that's involved and personal preferences and everything else. But the end goal is we're going to become one flesh.
The end goal, yes, become one flesh. I gotta drink water. Sorry, hang on a second. Become one flesh is the end goal. Sorry, that's not, because homos can become one flesh if they feel like it, because it's not about procreation is not the end goal. Therefore, whoever is deciding, those two lads on the couch looked pretty compatible to me. I think they're really bonding. I think they really are having a total gift of self moment there. I mean, dang. I cut off the end of the video because I couldn't watch. It was too gross. Too gross. Sorry.
And be open to life in the one flesh moment, even if we're
open to life in the one flesh moment. See, it's just it's more poetic language designed to lull you to sleep, to accept the new nature.
We're not fertile at this time, but we would still be open to life, and that is maybe one of the more simple ways to say it. Although it can probably be said better than how I just said it.
No, you word everything beautifully.
I also look at it as not objectifying you, right?
So there he goes, Tim, with the talking points, not objectifying you. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that she's, you got to be nice or whatever. But hold on. Let's keep going.
Our faith tells us how to live. People who don't have that faith, I like to find ways that they might relate to it, and then bring them into the faith. That ideally, but when one person is just getting the pleasure out of it, even if you say you like serving your husband, it still feels like objectification to me. Excuse me.
Okay, so he's saying that he's trying to use the NFP talking points because he's on the studio here with these two NFP power babes. All right, so he's got to say, if my spouse isn't quite into it, I'm objectifying her. Wrong. Sorry, no. People who want to be into it or not, that's like their own deal. All right, okay. So what he's basically being a little cuck there. He's like, oh yeah, if she's not into this, then I can't be into it because I'm objectifying her. Where's my love and responsibility manual when I need it? Okay, sorry, but again, so Tim, you got to wait for Tim. He comes through here a little bit, but he's a work in progress, and he's got his little NFP talking points.
I'm using you as an ends to a means kind of thing.
Ah! Hello, JP2. Your ends to a mean. What? Oh wait, did you already said? And wait, it was funny. Hang on.
Not objectifying you, right? Our faith tells us how to live. People who don't have that faith, I like to find ways that they might relate to it, and then bring them into the faith. That ideally, but when one person is just getting the pleasure out of it, even if you say you like serving your husband, it still feels like objectification to me. Excuse me. I'm using you as an ends to a means kind of.
A means to an end. Obviously, he meant using, but an ends to a means. Anyway.
Thing. And that just doesn't sit right with me either.
I think he's nervous. All right, so hold on a second. We got to go to the next section.
Our 3-year-old son.
All right, so here's where Lila Rose, our NFP dominatrix, says the spouse is not entitled to the conjugal act as a right. Listen to this.
You know, I'm not going to judge anyone's intentions, but I think there was a passion to hate on an idea that really triggered folks. And that idea can be that, yes, you don't need sex, because the culture is saying constantly you're entitled to sex.
You're entitled. Okay, entitled means you have a right, which in marriage you do have a right. However, the whole basis of NFP is you must have something called one flesh bonding unity groovy. You have to have it legally, as in love wins in the law, which means Christianity loses. Okay, so if love wins, you have to have this bonding unity stuff, okay? The one flesh moment, as she said, which means you are not entitled, you have no right to the conjugal act just to for the debt, okay? That's what she's basically saying, which is taking 1 Corinthians 7:5 and just throwing it away because it says do not defraud. If you can't create this one flesh union cover of a romance novel experience, I am not defrauding you. I'm saying this is rape or something. This, as I've said before, the term marital rape never existed in the history of the world until the end of the 20th century, because that's when all this love wins stuff started getting its way into law, because consent happens one time at the altar. All right, let's go back, listen a little bit more. Hang on.
Well, like you said, you live it to the fullest.
You know, I'm not going to judge anyone's intentions, but I think there was a passion to hate on an idea that really triggered folks. And that idea can be that, yes, you don't need sex, because the culture is saying constantly you're entitled to sex, you need sex. And if you're in a marriage, your spouse is now your sex object, effectively. Right. I think
Kraftwerk is sentimental. Those super Chad German dudes. Yeah, don't be my sex subject. That guy, yeah, whatever. As in, you have no right over the body. You only have a right to unity. Okay, so you don't get the body until you get unity, whatever that means. Which is like the Lila Rose is happening thing. She's into it, which means the body is secondary to unity. It's got to be all lined up. Okay. Am I making sense? As in, you don't have, when you do marriage consent now, it's no longer consent to the right over the body. It's consent to the permanent feminist operation. Oh, man. Woo. Okay. Continuing. Let's go back. Let's listen to her again.
An idea that really triggered folks, and that idea can be that, yes, you don't need sex.
It triggers folks because it's wrong.
Constantly, you're entitled to sex.
Everyone
you need sex, and if you're in a marriage, your spouse is now your sex object, effectively. Right. I think that is a strong narrative underpinning some of the approaches in parts of Christianity today.
Approaches. It's okay. Again, this is modernism 101. Well, you have your approach, you have your view, you have your perspective, St. Thomas Aquinas, you have your developed thought or undeveloped thought, St. Augustine, but we have a new perspective. Sorry, she's trying to say there's still real Christianity in existence, and we have to snuff it out because love has won, like the two guys on the couch say, and we ain't going back, right? Right. That's right. Barefoot and pregnant with 17 kids, and no. That's not what we're gonna do. We have elevated ourselves to a position of unity, aka dominatrix. That's all it is.
That you get married, so then now you have this personal sex object, your spouse that you love, but then you just get sex whenever you want.
What is the marriage contract, boys and girls? The right over the body. The permanent and exclusive right over the body for acts which are of themselves suitable for the generation of children, which is exactly what Lila Rose just said. It's not. This is a redefinition of marriage. All it is, you are saying nature is now new. We're putting two natures together. So you've got regular nature, which we've always acknowledged. Now you add JP2, Christopher West, Lila Rose Nature on top of that and call that legal. Okay? Love wins. And when you make love win, you invite those two frickin' blonde-haired lads in the beginning right along with you, and then they're trans friends. And the trans people don't think straight sometimes and do bad stuff.
No. You get sex as a part of loving them and being loved by them, but
okay, she just admitted the conjugal act rights. The marital debt is secondary. It depends on love, which means love is independent because something has to come first. There is no primary purpose without a first purpose. We're going to go to our notes after I only have a few notes. I'm going to really try to be easy on you guys and not take this 2 hours, okay? We're going to go try to do it quick. But St. Thomas Aquinas proves Lila Rose is wrong because he says that primary alone is essential. Secondary ends are non-essential, cannot be included in the legal definition. I'm going to show it to you in black and white. Hold on to your toupees, you guys. But you know what? I noticed in my audience is a lot younger than I thought. I thought it was all this like me, late Gen X or early Gen X and stuff. No, it was a bunch of 20-somethings. Okay. I got a good pickup line too for you. I'm gonna you can ask me in the comments what's my Catholic pickup line for the youngsters.
Love is the order, not just I'm seeking pleasure.
Woo! Love is the order. Yes. Let's listen to her one more time.
You're entitled to sex. You need sex, and if you're in a marriage, your spouse is now your sex object. Effectively, right. I think that is a strong narrative underpinning some of the approaches in parts of Christianity today, that you get married. So then now you have this personal sex object, your spouse that you love, but then you just get sex whenever you want. Right. No. You get sex as a part of loving them and being loved by them, but love is the order.
Okay. So she didn't say love is primary. She didn't say love comes before the body, but she more or less did. Okay. So these people, they're always a little bit careful, or the devil's working for them, helping them to not put their foot in their mouth too bad. Okay. She says love is the order, which what she's trying to say is love is primary. All right. As in love wins. And those two well-groomed frickin' freaks on the couch couldn't agree more.
Not just I'm seeking pleasure or an outlet.
Yeah.
Not that I'm just seeking pleasure or an outlet. Well, you're seeking procreation, okay? Now it's a remedy for concupiscence, but it's a venial sin if you use the conjugal act just to remedy concupiscence. Okay, you have to be pursuing procreation. But it's a mortal sin, and I've said this a bunch of times, but it's good to repeat it, okay? Because we got to push back, as Rush Limbaugh used to say, against the walls of ignorance or whatever. It's a mortal sin to use any planning method to render fertility not there, to avoid fertility, because that's what nature is for. But now we have all this body language stuff because nature is for so much more. Sorry to digress. Keep going.
The internet seems to think we don't have sex at all.
Well,
it's clearly not the
case. Ones who don't know that we have 6 kids.
I'm sorry. The people who clipped who
don't know who we are at all.
Yeah. Basically, he's saying that NFP people. It is true. NFP people are lame because a lot of times, if she doesn't want to get pregnant, the husband gets about a 4 or 5 day window per month. That's it.
But something I saw coming up online quite a bit was, especially when we're trying to, postpartum, absolutely, we're not going to.
Then she feels like a bit of a prostitute and isn't really interested anyway. So can you see how great it all is? It's like natural family destruction.
Be doing anything. We're just going to be focusing on the baby and taking care of the family, right? That's our focus there. If we're trying not to conceive too soon, we're going to abstain. And I think that also triggered a bunch of people online, especially non-Catholics, because they don't understand, pull out condoms.
Yeah.
If we're trying not to conceive too soon, we're going to abstain. Okay, so yes, that's called virtuous continence, as in you have no action. But I think what he's trying to say is we're going to use NFP, but he didn't say it. Like I said, these people use a lot of little sneaky words. Hold on. All is not lost with Tim, though. I want to make sure I got the right time. 35:14, and we're going to Oh, we got a ways to go yet. No problem. No problem. Just hang on.
Kind of contraceptive, right? No, we don't do that. We're always open to life. And so if we're not ready now, we're just going to abstain.
Okay. So it sounds like what he's saying is there's zero relations because they're just going to abstain, which is the only Catholic way to not get pregnant. Don't do the pregnancy making thing. No babies happen. If you're going to be open to life, like Crissy said in the first video I did on her a couple weeks ago or whatever, there's no such thing as we were open to life, but now we're really, really, really open to life. No, it's because NFP is closed to life. And if it's closed, contraception is contra to life. Contra life. Doesn't matter how you get there.
And I would think that a lot of men would connect with this idea of self-control, right? There's this new push online for, and I love to see it, just all the health and all the discipline, right? People take care of your body, eat right, exercise, work hard for your family, master your craft. But then in the bedroom, throw it all out the window is what it seems like. But no, you can be self-controlled in that situation too, and wait for the right times, wait for the moment that your spouse is also there with you and you can enjoy it together.
Whatever, dude.
If you're in the situation where your spouse just doesn't enjoy sex, that's a chance for you guys to maybe learn about each other and explore and figure out why. And
okay, I'm gonna turn my volume down. Listen to what he just said. Something about if people aren't enjoying it, you need to kind of figure out why. But that sounds harmless, but let's listen a little bit more.
And wait for the right times, wait for the moment that your spouse is also there with you and you can enjoy it together. If you're in the situation where your spouse just doesn't enjoy sex, that's a chance for you guys to maybe learn about each other and explore and figure out why. And maybe your wife or spouse never enjoys it or it doesn't get that into it. There's still a requirement.
Right there. Look what he said. He did it. Tim, you came through. There's still a requirement, he says. What's the requirement? What are you talking about? He said, whoa, hold on a second. He just took out the machine gun on the unitive heresy. The unitarian heresy, I should say.
But no, you can be self-controlled in that situation too, and wait for the right times, wait for the moment that your spouse is also there with you and you can enjoy it together. If you're in the situation where your spouse just doesn't enjoy sex, that's a chance for you guys to maybe learn about each other and explore and figure out why. And maybe your wife or spouse never enjoys it or it doesn't get that into it. There's still a requirement of it there.
There's still a requirement. That's right. It's called the marital debt. Now, she's nodding up and down, but look at her face. She's like, wow, I don't know if I'm not enjoying it. Is it required? Lila Rose would say no, because unity has to come first. And if one spouse isn't enjoying it or something, but look, Timmy there, he's like, hey, nature. Like, as I said, horse sense, man. It's like, I got it right. Oh, you do you? No, love's got it right because love wins. Remember that? Okay? Your nice little homo buddy said love wins, and so does NFP. So, Tim, sorry to break the news to you, but those NFP dominatrixes you're with can't abide with what you're saying.
That's a chance for you guys to maybe learn about each other and explore and figure out why. And maybe your wife or spouse never enjoys it or it doesn't get that into it. There's still a requirement of it there. So that's something that each couple is going to have to work out, right? It's not, I can't say everyone you have to wait to be in the mood.
You can't say you have to wait till you have to be in the mood. Oh, you can't, can you? Look, poor little Lila there. She says no. Unity comes first. So, yeah, I think everyone does need to be in the mood, okay? Tim, you're getting out of line. What are you, some white guy thinking straight? Forget you, buddy. Forget it. Can't do that, Tim. No.
Sometimes the husband has to get you in the mood or...
Oh. Does he have to?
Sometimes I think the wife just, and I guess
he doesn't know what to say because he knows he's like, hey, what is this unity stuff? Forget that, man. Woo!
Needs to figure out how to get in the mood. That's kind of the thing.
Now, that was a key line. We got to go back.
Your wife or spouse never enjoys it or it doesn't get that into it. There's still a requirement of it there. So that's something that each couple is going to have to work out, right? It's not, I can't say everyone you have to wait to be in the mood. Sometimes the husband has to get you in the mood, or sometimes I think the wife just, and I guess needs to figure out how to get in the mood. That's kind of the thing.
But there's self-sacrifice in both of them.
Sometimes it has to figure out how to get in the mood. So I'm sorry I blanked out on that. I want to listen to it one more time. Sorry about that. I was freaking
your
out
wife or spouse never enjoys it, or it doesn't get that into it. There's still a requirement of it there. So that's something that each couple have to work out, right? It's not. I can't say everyone just you have to wait to be in the mood. Right. Sometimes the husband has to get you in the mood, or sometimes I think the wife just, and I guess needs to figure out how to get in the mood. That's kind of the thing.
Okay, so they kind of agree, and so they're basically saying sometimes what if you're not bringing unity to the table, whatever that is, that's an inside job, and so he's basically saying common sense. So they're kind of nodding up and down, but no, that violates NFP right there. She's got to bring her unity, because you got to right. Okay, so we have conflicting marital models here. Tim is saying you've got the right, and unity isn't required, but these girls are saying no. Especially Lila, the dominatrix, is saying unity is required first. So Tim, you're out. But they don't go there. They just kind of like gloss over it because what are they going to do?
But there's self-sacrifice in both of this, right?
Oh, shoot. Who could that be? Somebody's calling. I got to grab this call just a minute. All right, we're back. Let's listen to this continuing drama here.
So there's self-sacrifice in if my wife is going through something or medically healing, obviously I'm going to sacrifice and practice self-control. But if there is something...
Okay, sorry, hang on. Every little bit here counts because they slip in some crazy little wiggle words, okay? Anyway, she's saying self-sacrifice works both ways, obviously. So unless there is an objective goal or standard or law or a thing you're working for, you got one person saying you need to die the self and the other person saying no, you need to die the self. And what happens is the dominatrix wins. She wins because her personality, her desires, whatever, are stronger. Okay. He's stronger physically, but she's stronger everywhere, every other way. And that's where, oh man, that's why the feminists love this thing. What did I call this? Oh yeah. Gay feminist NFP love loses to husband. So this is where Tim kind of, like I said, he did come out and he did say it's required. All right. So Tim here is pushing back for nature and normal a little bit at least. So that's good. Okay. Because, he's a normal dude. But let's keep listening.
Wait to be in the mood. Right. Sometimes the husband has to get you in the mood, or sometimes the wife just and I guess needs to figure out how to get in the mood. That's kind of like.
But there's self-sacrifice in both of this, right? So there's self-sacrifice in if my wife is going through something or medically healing, obviously I'm going to sacrifice and practice self-control. But if there is something deeper going on with the wife, because this was something that was brought up to me, that
practice self-control is code for you're going to pursue secondary ends independent of the primary, because love is primary now. So as long as you're loving me this way, okay, gross. It's homo.
I have been, I've lived a very beautiful, blessed life, and I don't take it for granted. And I've had, while I do have regrets of not waiting till marriage, I've had a very healthy look on what intimacy looks like.
Okay, so 36, we already got that. So let's go to 3714. That's the next section. 3714. Where are you, baby? Right there. Okay, here we go.
Sex is difficult for them. Again, yes, obviously, let's work on the deeper issues, connect intimacy, like what's going on? Why is this hard for you? But there is it is a marriage. They're self-sacrificing maybe on her end too. So we're not saying, I think that was the biggest misconception, that this woman's calling all the shots.
Okay, that's the biggest misconception, that this woman is calling all the shots. She's talking about the initial interview between her and Lila Rose, NFP dominatrix. And she's saying the misconception is that the woman calls all the shots. No, that's not the misconception. That's the truth of the matter, because when you say that men do not need the conjugal act, you are saying that they don't have a right to it. That's what you're saying. Okay? And therefore, whoever is in charge of the love, is in charge of the conjugal act. And so that's her, because the guy's just a caveman along for the ride, and she's the one who says when she's in the mood and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Everyone knows that. You know what I mean? This is why if men don't lead, she will. And if he has no right, he has no frame, he has nothing to lead with, therefore it's up to her. She's the one who controls the whole thing. So yes, this is so. Hang on, let's rewind that one more time. Again, there's not a lot of info here. We just got to go through it real quick.
Now, why is this hard for you? But there is, like, again, it is a marriage. They're self-sacrificing maybe on her end too. So we're not saying, I think that was the biggest misconception, that this woman's calling all the shots. This man's needs are totally by the wayside.
Well, in a way they are, because marriage is not a contract. It's this love covenant. And if he has needs, he cannot assert any right to them, okay? Even though he did earlier in this video, because Lila has dictated and said, love is the order. Remember that? Yeah.
And that wasn't what we were saying at all. So that, I mean, I think that's the clarification, is just that they're self-sacrificing on both ends, and you don't want to have a sexless marriage. And, you know, obviously, if there's not like a medical reasoning.
Okay, so that's it. That's the end of that video. So the dual self-sacrificing business, again, is meaningless because she just takes over the whole thing. That's all we got. I think all you guys can relate. You know what I'm talking about as far as the emotional or relational barometer in the room. She controls that thermostat. Okay, got it? So again, if there's no objective right to anything, you got nothing. However, as we said, I repeated myself, Tim did speak up. Broken clock is right twice a day, and he just couldn't help himself, so they kind of stumbled on their words a little bit. Okay, there's that. Listen, let's go through these notes. I told you, I only got, look, it's barely any, all right? So hang on. Whatever. This is church teaching right here. This is infallible because it's universal magisterium. The primary end of marriage is the procreation and education of children. It can never be anything else. All right? Okay. There's that. You can't even they mince words and they go crazy with this in the latter half of the 20th century, but you can't change that. P.S. You guys tell me anything you want in the comments. You have anything you want to challenge me on, no problem. We'll talk all about it. Easy, no sweat. St. Augustine, undoubtedly by the eternal law, which requires the preservation of the natural order. I've gone through this quote before, but it's so good. The eternal law, as in natural law, requires the preservation of the natural order. Remember what Lila Rose said. Love is the order. Sorry. No, no, no. No. Procreation is the order, primary, okay? Love may be the drug she's thinking of or whatever. Actually, no, that's more of a guy thing. She just wants feminism. That's what she wants. She just doesn't want she just doesn't want the kids. If she doesn't want to have 17 kids, you don't have to anymore. And you know what? Those two little blonde-haired hair gel guys on the couch don't have to have 17 kids anymore either. Isn't that nice? They are, oh boy. Okay, sorry. Forbids the transgression of it. Yeah? Okay, what's the transgression of the eternal law, of nature, the natural order? What is the transgression? It's called putting something besides procreation primary. Lila Rose, NFP Dominatrix, call your office. You are violating the natural order. Sorry. Which is why she won't talk about it. They just fly over the clouds on all this stuff. And forbids the transgression of it. Conjugal intercourse should take place only for the procreation of children. Wow. Golly, St. Augustine, you sure have a different view than we do. Maybe your views need to change. I think perspectives, views, and all that can evolve and change because it's only nature. It's only the natural order. It's only eternal law. That stuff's, we can change all that, can't we? Come on, dude. Love wins, baby. Remember? Okay. And after the celebration of marriage, so as to maintain the bond of peace. So look, you only get consent once. So he's saying after you consent, you got to maintain the bond of peace. How do you do that? By honoring the marital debt. That's all he's saying. Super obvious. I just figured that out. Look, there ain't no right to unity. All a right to unity is you get to consent over and over and over. Remember, you consented to marriage. What did you think you consented to? You consented to permanent and exclusive feminism, which by definition is not permanent or exclusive. All right? So our crisis is not homo. That's just an offshoot of it. The crisis is permanence. You get no permanence when, like they say, the husband and the wife both have to sacrifice. To what? To love. What is love? I don't know. It's willing the good of the other. Well, this is my good, and that's my good. So give me my good. I want my good. I have a right to my good because marriage is love, and I consented to love, so give me my good. No, you give me my good. Uh-oh, what's that counselor's phone number? Counselor! Continuing. Oh, this is so good, man. You got to bring this up in the comments. We can talk more about this. By the way, I'm the easiest guy in the world to reach. If anyone wants to call me about divorce, annulment, whatever's going on with your case, no problemo. I got some ideas for you. More than ideas, I can help you with some of the process. Because all these people at the tribunals, your bishop, your pastor, all of them, even FSSP, they're all in the twilight zone regarding the essence of marriage, okay? At least with FSSP, there might be a couple stragglers, but they can't be real public about it. A couple people who get it, they got through the seminary without getting indoctrinated by Father Joseph Lee, FSSP. Now then, check this out. What do we have here? St. Thomas Aquinas is what we have. I told you, I promised you, we're going to talk about primary purpose per St. Thomas Aquinas, okay? So, he says, I answer that integrity is twofold. Integrity of marriage. I wish I had the question here, but whatever. Integrity is twofold. One regards the primal perfection consisting in the very essence of a thing. Wow, what did he just say regarding marriage? He says, integrity is the primal perfection, the primary, first perfection consisting in the essence. Okay, so the primary purpose is the essence. What is essential to marriage? Cannot change. Canon 1095, 2 and 3 talk about if you cannot do what is essential, you cannot consent to marriage, and your marriage is invalid. And when NFP requires unity, we now have unity as essential. However, the primary perfection consists in the very essence of a thing. So what is the essence of a thing? Is the essence unity, as Lila Rose is saying? Let's read on and see what we got. The other thing regards the secondary perfection consisting in operation. So secondary is not essential, okay? It's the operation thereof, but it's not the essence, okay? All right. Since then, carnal intercourse is an operation or use of marriage, which gives the faculty for that intercourse, it follows that carnal intercourse belongs to the latter, as in it is secondary, okay? Which means it is not essential, which means all this unity stuff is not essential and not to the form and integrity of marriage. So, let's read one more thing and we'll come back to that because St. Thomas Aquinas it can make your brain hurt. It's a little tricky on occasion, but this is what he is effectively getting at, all right? Now, I'm going to come back to that after we read this. So, Dr. Marshner over at Christendom College in 1978 wrote this prophetic essay saying this new code of canon law coming out is bad because it trashes marriage. Okay, warning. So he's like, oh yeah, there's no more primary, secondary. There's just this like love covenant doodad. All right. So he's like, that's going to destroy everything. And he was right. And I put the link to it right here. But this is what he said about primary and secondary. Here is what Father Anthony Ostheimer, German, stated in matter of his far-reaching dissertation, The Family, a Thomistic Study, Catholic University of America. Back in the day when we actually didn't try to say St. Thomas approved of gay marriage and NFP and contraception and trans and communism, when we said, Thomas Aquinas said what he said, okay? The primary end of anything is that principal good for which a thing exists. All right, so what is the principal good for which marriage exists, Lila Rose? She'll say it's something called love or one flesh moment or unity or whatever. Okay, it is the thing that the first arises in the very nature of the thing that is sufficient to account for the essential perfection of the thing, apart from any other contributing ends. All right? So what is primary is the essence, essential perfection. Exactly what St. Thomas Aquinas says here. Primary perfection is the very essence. So if we can identify what is primary, we know what is essential. Primary end of marriage is procreation. That's why we have to get rid of primary secondary, because you've got to make love legal, and when love can't win unless there's no primary purpose. Marriage is just a thing, and we don't really know what it is. Everyone just sort of tries to contribute to it, or, and sorry. This is where mutual submission comes from, because you can't have the man in charge, because that's not unity. That's called leader. That's called somebody wins and somebody loses in the leadership role. Woo, can't have that. Got to have unity. Not good. Can't go there. Wouldn't be prudent. Okay. This is the point we were looking for. Take it in. Okay. Ostenheimer continues. The secondary end, however, is some added or accessory purpose for the thing which the thing exists. All right. Lila Rose says we need to be, and all these people on here are saying we need to be open to life. That's making life, aka procreation, an accessory for which the thing, some added or accessory purpose. We don't need to pursue life. We don't need to be oriented toward life. We just need to be open to it because it's an accessory purpose, okay? Because love is number one, because God is love and the Trinity is love, and marriage is a reflection of God. Therefore, love is the natural purpose, okay? It's a supernatural sign or an icon, but it's not nature, all right? It may proceed from the primary itself or from the nature of the thing itself, but only for its integral and not its essential perfection. That's exactly what their Aquinas says up here, right? Belongs to the latter. Yes. Carnal intercourse is for the operation or use. Yeah. Of it. Not its essential perfection. If we cannot legally define the essence of marriage, you got nothing. Lila Rose, Cardinal Burke, your bishop, your pastor will not, cannot, do not define the essence of marriage, the essential perfection of marriage. They won't do it because NFP is gone and all the annulments are gone. Then we have objective definition of marriage again, which means we have public sin or not, which means divorce cannot receive communion. If you publicly divorce, I should say, if you are the divorce initiator, you are banned, no sacraments, because you're breaking the contract, the essential perfection, okay? But if unity is number one, then we don't know what the contract is, and you can judge for yourself, right? Right. So the politics could not be higher than this. Could not. You're talking about the whole ball of wax, and it's the thing that everyone cares the most about, and they're all pushing one way. All of them. Then you got guys like me and a couple others on the other side of the dam pushing the other way versus like 10 million, all right? That's why we're dead to everybody and nobody hears us. Horton, here's a hoot time. Of itself is insufficient to account for even the essential perfection which the nature of the thing demands. Wham! That is it, okay? NFP is legally dead intellectually. You cannot defend it. You can just use crazy little words and run away. And that's what I'm going to work on Tim Gordon a little bit more. I got a lot of things in the hopper we're going to talk about. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to I need more. I got to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can do the super chats and things like that. It'll be fun. Anyway, if you're not opposed to NFP, you're not on the team. So go out there and stay toxic, Gen X.